All right, little intro there for you. I don't know what that was. A little post Smokies road trip, brushing the dust off. A little improv. First time I picked up the electric guitar in about 4 or 5 days. I went to the Smoky Mountains. Me and the lady friend got a cabin out there in the woods. Saw a bunch of black bear. Laid in an ice cold river a few times. Took some big hikes, and man, the Smoky Mountains are incredible. I got a list of things to go down today that's going to be pretty cool. It's Monday. I'm feeling very invigorated, refreshed, however you want to put it. Man, I've been trying to just focus on, staying positive, not going down the rabbit hole of Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and all that stuff. I finally realized, I think the answer to de-stressing and not worrying about all this stuff is to just say, fuck it. And by that, I don't mean like giving up and just throwing my hands in the air, but I mean, and I don't mean not caring. I just mean, man, not getting so wrapped up in like every single project and why are things not moving forward? Why is this not happening? Why is that not happening? Why am I stressed out that this person hasn't reached back out to me? Why is this? Why is that? And just going, man, it's okay. Look how far we've come. If we're alive and happy to be on this planet at this point, that, in my opinion, these days is success. Man, the stuff that you guys have done and the trips you've taken, I'm sure, and the food you've eaten and the people you've met and all that. I mean, man, I've been just looking back and reflecting and going, man, it's not about, what you haven't achieved yet or the things that you want to do down the road. It's about all the stuff you've already done and the wisdom that you've learned up to this point. I don't know shit about anything, but I have learned that I think you kind of just got to say, man, it's okay. It's all okay. Everything's good. I mean, what is that bad to get so stressed about? So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to learn about that stuff and get out and take more time to just enjoy what's already there, There's always going to be a more expensive car. There's always going to be a nicer guitar. There's always going to be a bigger house. There's always going to be, fancier champagne. But man, it ain't about that. So, I mean, I'm looking back, man, I came from the Gulf Coast of Alabama, from an amazing family that loved music and was a little outside the box. I quit school a bunch of times. 2 weeks into the 10th grade, I was done. I never went back. And man, loading my, gear in through the smelly oyster shells in August to play an outdoor gig at the Floribama for 4 hours. I mean, hey, talk about paying some dues, man. I've done it. I've done that stuff, and to be able to leave my house here in a couple hours to go sit with John Oates in his living room and rehearse for the Newport Folk Festival, who, I was named after Woody Guthrie, going to play the Newport Folk Festival. I mean, man, these are dreams coming true. I mean, what have I got to be worried about? So let's focus on all the stuff that we've already done and the history that we've got and all the amazing things and the stuff that come in the future. We just got to plan it out. So taking more time for that. there was a bunch of stuff I wanted to tell you. I was, man, like with the stress stuff, you know, a month ago, a couple weeks ago, I was really stressed, man. How are we going to put this record out? Are we going to make sure we try to get, you know, a record label and calling all my buddies in town and setting up meetings? And, you know, how do we make sure we squeeze every ounce of juice out of the lemon with this record we can? Publicity and all that stuff. And man, I finally just went, God, man, don't worry about that stuff. It's all going to work itself out, man. You know, we know all the best people in town. It's going to happen. We're going to do it. The record's going to come out. You guys are going to love it. We love it. You know, I'm just done stressing about all that shit. And so there's all that. But, man, go to the Smoky Mountains if you haven't. I've been going there as a kid. You know, go over there and drive through the park, get out, hike. You can't go wrong. Lay in a cold river, that amazing fresh water. It's ice cold, man. It was 63 degrees at the top of Klingman's Dome in the park. And I like to drive through the park, man. We'll drive, you know, all over the park. And the park was actually founded by a bunch of people in Nashville and Knoxville back in the 20s that loved to drive. They wanted a place to go drive their nice new cars through the beautiful mountains. And I'm like, well, man, that's what we love to do. So anyway, you know, man, speaking of that, I got a whole bunch of stories to tell you guys at some point about my childhood and how I survived a ton of car wrecks and high-speed chases, guys chasing me through the woods down there, and a bunch of crazy stuff. I'm lucky to be alive, man. I mean, there's been some crazy shit out there that's happened to me in my life. But man, so fortunate to be here talking to you guys and picking up the guitar, feeling fresh, feeling good, been eating good. You know, had a couple glasses of wine over the course of, you know, a couple days in the Smokies, but before that, I've gone like 3 weeks without a drink, and we'll continue to do more of that. It just feels so good. Been drinking just a lot of water and feeling good, man. So we can do it. If I can do it, we can all do it. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some rhythm guitar stuff, and then I'll get onto this list. I think you're gonna find this a little bit entertaining. Anyway, and I got to tell you, we're running a special sale on private lessons, tiers 1 and 2, virtual and in person here in Nashville. And so if you haven't seen that yet, it's the link is. Oh God, I gotta tell you the link. I'll put the link in below. There's a code, but you'll find it. It's on Instagram and all that stuff. But it's we're running a special, 20% off on all private lessons through the 31st, and we might extend it for you YouTubers. We might do another one for July because I was so late telling you guys. We might run one in August for just you guys on YouTube, a special sale deal on my private lessons. So definitely check that out. I'll put the link below and the code and all that you can use. It's like Spark 2023 or Ignite 2023, but I'll put it below in the link. But definitely check out the tip jug if you want to donate to some of these projects. You know, we might work out some kind of special deal where we do the donation over a certain amount gets you a free lesson or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure out some stuff. But anyway, about this rhythm guitar stuff, man, just pick up the guitar and start doing something like this, like that. The old oh my God, who's the guy that the guy that started that? It'll hit me in a minute. But just sit, and if you can't do that and change chords from E to A to B in time, you got to start working on that. You got to be able to sit there. I mean, this is like stuff I shouldn't even be telling you guys. I mean, this is, you guys, you know, this is like 101, right? So rhythm guitar 101, right, is this on the electric. That's 2 strings, right? But it's that feel, it's the swing feel, it's the rhythm, it's the feel of it, that swing feel. That's it. Turnarounds come in, and that is the beginning of the rest of your life. That's where phrasing and timing and putting these little riffs in between the chord changes and the walk up and the walk down, you know, all those little licks fit into this phrasing like a puzzle between these chords, you know. So it's like all these little licks, you can kind of mix match them and put them together, but that's what develops a big vocabulary for just these little blues licks in between the chord changes. You gotta be able to sit and change chords, and don't even worry about adding in the licks until you can sit and go like this. Right? The blues progression to the 4, to the 1, to the 5, or you know, stuff. Danny Gatton used to call that dead thumb, where it was just the bass and these two fingers. Oh, sorry. I wasn't perfect, but there's all these syncopated things. So it's that kind of vibe. Those kind of licks. That's just like, man, you gotta get into that stuff, because that is what changes your whole life on the guitar. I mean, any kind of swing feel and stuff comes from that. I mean, you know, the shuffle groove, you know. All that stuff, right? So that's a little rhythm guitar 101 as far as just getting into that. And then, I mean, that is gonna make everything better. All this stuff that I've been showing you, like C to A minor. All that stuff. And then the other thing about this rhythm stuff is you want your right hand to be the one to, you know, allowing these certain notes to speak with these chords. I'm not playing this whole big chord. I'm just, you know, I'm just making like 3 or 4 notes speak. That might be 2 or 3 notes. Right hand is, I'm doing a lot of muting. It doesn't look like it, but I'm muting a lot, you know. It's all about the muting. So you don't want these unwanted strings ringing out. You want to be in control of what strings are speaking, right? Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to grab this acoustic real quick here just to show you this. So I got a capo on here. I don't even know. I'm not in drop D or anything. Sometimes I like to put a capo on the acoustic just to get that nice tight, you know. on the acoustic with the strumming, you know, G with no third, C, G, E minor, C, G. Just get into this. Watch, windshield wiper. Simple, right? Why not? Whatever. Probably would have gone to C there actually, but whatever. So just that nice. Just it's all about keeping the time going. If you make a mistake, don't even worry about it. If you make a mistake, keep going. It's more important to keep going and keep the rhythm going, because if you're playing in a live situation or you're playing in front of people, they're gonna know when you break the rhythm, because they're sitting there the only thing they know is this, they're tapping their foot, you know, hopefully on like, you know, 1, 2, 3. Hopefully they're not doing the Opry clap where everybody's clapping like a bunch of, you know, people without any rhythm. Come on. Anyway, so check this out. Now this video is going to be long, and I hope you guys watch it. It seemed like I've been getting some nice views on these other videos, so appreciate that, guys. Don't forget the tip jug down below and the lesson sale, which we might be extending into August, which if we do, I'll do another lesson on that, of course. Okay, rhythm, the swing feel, timing, all that stuff. Don't forget about that. But here's a little thing I'm going to do here. I'm going to call this things I don't use and things that I do use and things that I need. So here's the list of things that I do not use. Pedals with screens on them. If anything has a screen on it that's digital, I don't use it. Unless it's my phone or some other gadget. But anything guitar related, no screens, man. I'm old school. I like this kind of stuff. Even though this has 10 million secondary functions, I like knobs, right? Let's use some knobs. I can see where that thing's at. And no more than like 4 knobs or 5 knobs. Otherwise, you get option anxiety, right? Which we were talking about that earlier. I don't need any more anxiety, and I don't think any of us do. Pedals with screens. Amp modelers or pedal amp modelers. None of that shit. Fancy cables. Monster cables, all that stuff. Man, it doesn't sound good. It lets too much high end and too much low end, and it starts making the guitar sound really weird. It doesn't feel good. I've tried a million cables. And what I love are these right here, Planet Waves Tour Series or whatever they are. These cables right here, I use an angled end on one end sometimes, and then a straight end on the other. But Planet Waves cables, non-tube amps or amps without reverb. I don't use those. I want a nice tube amp with nice natural compression and reverb. Okay, purple guitars or blue or green guitars. Let's get back down to some like traditional colors. Like I'm not talking about the blue I've got back here on the telly. I'm talking about like, you know, like this kind of blue or like really, you know, ornate guitars. I don't want that. Give me something really traditional, classic looking shit, right? I'm an old school traditional kind of dude. No purple guitars, no blue or green or flamey stuff or anything like that. No plastic acoustics, no Rain Song or any of these like plastic acoustics. Give me some nice rosewood or mahogany and that kind of stuff. Just a nice sounding acoustic. No amp stands, baffles or attenuators, no aux boxes. No coated strings, no weird string gauges, just a good old D'Addario 10 through 46 like all the other professionals use. No weird guitars, no crazy Jerry Garcia stuff with tons of switches and tons of pickups, and no guitars where you're trying to make a telly sound like a Les Paul and a Strat and a telly all in one guitar. If you want a good Strat, just get a good Strat with some good Strat pickups. If you want a Les Paul, just get a Les Paul. If you want a Gretsch, just get a Gretsch. If you want a telly, just get a telly. You need to have some classic examples of these guitars. Don't try to do anything crazy and work on your own stuff. Just let a professional do it and focus on playing, man. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Oh, I think I'm gonna change the neck on this guitar and that one. Man, I've been down that rabbit hole. And look at what look at Uncle Larry. I mean, every once in a while you get a hold of a chopper that's cool, but man, just get a good example of a good guitar and just be done with it and focus on learning how to play it and pick up the guitar and play it. Okay, here's some things that I do use and some things that I do need. And this is just my personal opinion. This is not anything you gotta, everybody's got their thing, right? But I have been doing this a long time, and I consider myself a semi-professional. What was I gonna say? Things that I do use and need. Good picks. A good old D'Addario or Fender medium or heavy with a nice rounded edge, and this way rounded edge, tumbled where there's no harsh edges. These suck. They're hard that way and they sound like it. Good strings, just a good old D'Addario set of strings, non-coated. Good cheap cables. I need good cheap cables. Planet Waves. I think we already been through this on these other ones, but simple guitars. I need a couple nice pickups and a volume and a tone control. Don't try to reinvent the wheel with these guitars, right? Just get a good example of a classic. That's what we're all going for anyway. Reverb, tubes, a good speaker. So on those amps that we did with the John Oates live backstage thing, the live gig in North Carolina, we went through 6 vintage deluxe reverbs, which I was really excited about, and then I plugged into all of them. They all sounded like garbage, and I ended up using one that had a new speaker in it. It was some kind of newer speaker that I couldn't even tell what brand it was, but it actually worked for the gig. The other ones, they didn't maintain them, and they had the original speakers. Sounded like garbage. Working condition amps. The amps need to be, if you're gonna buy a vintage amp, hopefully it's not all original. Hopefully it's had some work done to it, because they're all gonna need that to be up and running professional grade equipment anyway. So guitars, pro setups, the correct neck profile, the neck proper relief. You don't want them too low on the frets where they're not getting any tone. You want your guitars to be intonated. You want them to be in good working order. I mean, there's a few things we need, and that's one of them. Pro setup on the guitars and pro setup on the amps. The right amp for the gig. Don't have a twin reverb or a super reverb or a 50-watt Marshall to go play your local coffee shop down the street. You need a really tiny amp to do that, and you need to be able to stair step if you're playing live gigs, right? You got to be able to have the right amp for the right room and know what that is. We need black t-shirts. We need black strap. We need black accessories, because otherwise that just takes the attention off of you and the guitar. And I'm always joking about the black stuff. And these Viore sweatpants are like they're life changers. They're $100, but you got to go buy some of these Viore sweatpants. I'm telling you, they'll change your whole life. You'll wear them every day, everywhere, and you'll only put real pants on if somebody tells you that you need to. So the reason why musicians wear black all the time is because eventually you learn that it looks the best in photos and videos. If you're wearing some green shirt, then all people are going to see in the video or the photo is your green shirt and your red pants. It's like, just wear gray and black if you're doing a gig, because that it's going to look the best on stage. And that where your guitar, you're showing off your guitar, man. That's what you want to see. So there's a few of my super opinionated opinions. Check out the Cloudburst. I think I went through that last time. Let's get some comments going here, man. Let's get some engagement going. So ask me some questions. and let's get this thing going. So, guys, thank you so much. I'm feeling good. Let's all get out there and do something. And I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Check out the links below. I got to say that. At least I'm not, super obnoxious with that like everybody else on YouTube. But we'll see you guys soon. Thanks a bunch for hanging with me. See ya.